All right, everybody, welcome back for game number 2. TongFu leading MUFC 1-0 in this best out of 3. You're watching G League, day number 6, but it's day 1 of Group B. And as I say that, game 2 is getting underway right now. The draft has begun, and we see a first ban Lone Druid. I'm LD, and I'm joined here today by Fear.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, Lone Druid gets found out, huh? So, it was really weird what Ohio was trying to do that mid lane with Tinker. When you go against a Lone Druid, he didn't use the March to harass at all, and he used it just to pull the Ancients, which eventually got stopped by the Lone Druid just by sending his bear there. He could have won that lane if he wanted to go laser rockets, to be honest with you, but he chose to go for more farm-oriented build. It didn't really work out, and it seems like they just don't want to deal with Lone Druid at all. So it gets banned out.
You know, it's interesting you mentioned that because he actually started Laser Rocket 1 point each, and I thought he was going to go Laser Rocket's build, but then he just backed off of that and he went for March, and it played into TongFu's hands. And, you know, it sort of developed as you had suggested, which is the Bear's too tanky for the March to kill it. Sure, you kill the creep wave if you can kill it, but then there was a mech in the pipe, which something I mentioned. The Keeper of the Light will farm that if he's in that defensive Charlie, and you don't pressure him at all.
Yeah.
And they went for the early roaming smoke ganks with the Chen and the Rubik. It failed, then they were behind. They had a game plan to be for those two to set the tempo, and then to split push with the Tinker, the Weaver, out-farm their opponents, but they just were not able to execute at all.
But I am happy, though. The Keeper Light did get the Rod of Atos at the end, so my wish did come true. Came after the Hex, but it did come nonetheless.
So they banned the Lone Druid, and they maintained the Anti-Mage ban, which means we're actually going to see a Nyx Assassin slip through, but this time it's MUFC who take the mag.
Yeah, first pick Nyx. Maybe just to deny MUFC from getting it. Not sure.
I don't know how comfortable MUFC is with this mag, to be honest. I don't think I've actually seen them run it. They were usually a team that was banning it or just letting it through and looking to counter it. So yeah, I think it could be very smart by TongFu to pick this up. I don't know that mag fits their playstyle. They're not... This is a team that excels at individual play, at, you know, spreading the map. I'm not as confident in their 5-man Dota, and you need to have good 5-man Dota if you want a mag.
Yeah, you definitely do. Or you need some good stacking skills and defensive play style.
And we didn't see much of that from them either last game. Frankly, nope. I have to say, that MUFC we saw last game is nothing like how MUFC played at the GST Challenge. They're not going to go anywhere in this tournament if they play like that. They really do have to step their games up. And even for TongFu, I felt it was rather sloppy that game. It just, you know, losing the Aegis early after that push, like you said, they didn't need to force the issue, but they did anyway. After the amazing games we saw yesterday, I was not quite as impressed by these teams. Now, granted, it's day 1 of the group stages. Maybe they're getting adjusted, but they are definitely going to have to step their games up if they want to compete moving forward in this tournament.
Yeah, both teams played really sloppy. I really disliked MUFC's draft, to be honest with you. It had no disable at all. And then the purpose of the strategy, like, I didn't see the purpose. I felt like they got outdraft pretty hard last game.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. And also, and to on top of that, they got really hard outlaned, too, and that didn't help them either. And, well, you wanted stuns, you get stuns. You get an RP, you get a skewer for the slow, and the
yeah, they're not going to make the same mistake.
And the split earth. And then, wow, and they pick up the Shadow Demon as well. Very crowd control heavy draft from MUFC, but they've given away a lot to TongFu. They've given away 2 amazing map controllers in the Nyx Assassin, the Beastmaster, and they've given away that counter push and also the split push from Kodal. It may be TongFu who looks to sort of do what MUFC maybe had in mind last game, but TongFu have better heroes to execute that kind of strategy.
Yeah, but overall I still think MUFC is happy in the position they are after the first phase of the drafting. They still have a really good team fight.
Oops.
Their laning presence is going to be really good as well. So everything is still looking pretty good for them.
Yeah, there's a lot more places to go when you open like this. The way they opened that last game, there wasn't really much they could do by the time it came around to the end of the draft. Whereas this game, you start with this opening, you could be flexible with your lanes, you've got your supports, but you've also got it could even be a Leshrac played as a farmer. I wouldn't be entirely surprised, but we'll see.
I doubt it, but possible.
Yeah, possible at least. But yeah, they have a little bit of versatility with the picks. So now we enter the second stage of the bans, and a good group up and push carry off the bat. She's gone. It's the Luna.
Yeah, they're going to look to ban out as many carries that they don't want to deal with right now as they possibly can, because their lanes are pretty much, they need a carry, and they need either a mid or an off laner now. depending on for MUFC's draft. On the other side, I'm assuming this is an offlane Beastmaster because I, TongFu just loves double carry. So I just so much I see them run this double carry, I just have to go with this is an offlane Beastmaster.
If they do that, then he could stack the Ancients. He'll be on the dire side, so it's relatively easy to do. Something MUFC will probably look to ward off very early. And...
He's actually on the Radiant, isn't he?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, getting that. I still wish they're on the left or the right sides. But yeah, you're right. He's on the Radiant, so it's going to be actually harder to stack then. But yeah, we'll see. He can get zoned out of lane. Like, if they want to put multiple supports in that lane, he's going to get absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I love to see Beast mid this game, but I don't know if TongFu plays Beast in mid lane.
They may. TongFu is a team that does seem to sort of take what other Chinese teams are doing and then look to use it themselves. So they've seen LGD do it. Maybe something they look to do here.
Yeah, I'd love to see that this game. I don't want to see an offlane Beastmaster. It gets punished way too hard, especially on Radiant.
The one thing, though, is like you said, Hao and Mu are almost always both playing a carry of some kind. Occasionally, Mu will play as a Night Stalker, but outside of the Night Stalker, there's not really many non-carry heroes that I see him play, so I'm not sure if he'd handle
especially not in this game. Look at these 4 bans.
Who's left?
Yeah, we're going to see some unconventional carries this game.
There's a Dragon Knight. Actually, MUFC, it's something they might run. They do like their Shadowblade Dragon Knight from time to time. And just go for pickoffs, go for the push with Leshrac.
Nyx is always good with Magnus as well. The Empower on that hero is pretty good. If you get a nice RP off, Empower Nyx, a cleave with the bonus damage, it's pretty much the same thing as the Sven, just chopping up. Anyone who gets RP'd pretty much dies in that as well. Sven is just complete overkill, honestly.
No one man should have that much cleave. It reminds me of the Invoker memes where he's holding all the spells and trying to juggle them, but it's cleaves that Sven's trying to juggle when he's team.
Knocked out here too. It's not a carry hero, but it's a hero that plays in somewhat the carry position and getting farm. Different role, not as much of a Ricer, but they're just removing all the heroes that do take farm right now.
Yeah, it's really limited. Naga banned out.
They could do Shadow Fiend again if they wanted. Oh, not bad with Magnus.
It's also one of Ohio's signature heroes. That's a great hero to bring up. What would they think?
Yeah, either team could do it.
Yeah, TongFu maybe. Let's see what carry. Dragon Knight got the ban. MUFC get rid of that for TongFu, and that would give them a very tanky frontliner. They go for the Darkseer, probably for Veronica in the off lane. I think this is going to be a mid Beastmaster. Although it could be what we saw out of LGDN with that tri-lane Darkseer.
I don't think they'll do that with a Nyx Assassin. That's one of their other supports, though. Seems too weak. Well, so, yeah, and very well, it has to be a mid Beastmaster because Hao needs his hero still. So I do imagine Mu playing that Beastmaster in the mid lane.
You know, when you have a Keeper of the Light to recall your carry to the fights, you've got a Nyx Assassin and a Beastmaster to control the map, set up ganks, get the map control and advantage basically going your way. You'd love to have an anti-mage here, but they don't, and I wonder, is there another split-pushing carry who could maybe fit the bill in a pinch? Shadow Fiend's a little squishy, and there's a lot of stuns.
They picked up Sand King as well here, which means you may get your wish as a carry Leshrac here.
It might be Ohio. Ohio has played the solo mid Leshrac.
Ah, that's possible, I suppose, as well. I figured they might go aggressive tri-lane with the Leshrac, Sand King, and Shadow Demon.
I'm only talking about what I've seen, but certainly the hero picks make it possible.
You definitely know more about MUFC than me, for sure. I don't know them that well, to be honest with you, so I'm just speculating here.
I do wonder, though, if he's that mid Leshrac, there are... I mean, he's very squishy, and you got to think maybe the Nyx Assassin looks to set up some ganks there early on. If it's a Darkseer in the jungle, maybe he looks to come out of that jungle and go for some early kills once the Beastmaster hits 6, but we'll see. Assuming it's a mid Beastmaster, which it does seem like it will be at this point.
Yeah, it really does look like it.
And then
I don't see them doing anything. Like, what else? Who else would Mu play mid? Like, I don't see him. There's the Nyx. There we go.
There's your Hao. Nyx on a Nyx in a plane.
I actually expected MUFC to take that a bit earlier, but maybe they're a little deterred by the Beastmaster. I don't know.
They have some very annoying combos with the snakes on their side.
Yeah, they do.
With this Lifestealer.
You can go in with the Nyx, assassinate the Nyx. You can throw the, whatchamacallit, Nyx inside of a bird if you want. I haven't seen that one in a while.
The thing with that is that the bird's pretty easy to kill off, and then you're just trapped, maybe even on top of a cliff or something.
Yeah, I remember when it's Korok who did that with, like, I forgot which team it was, but they tried doing that in the Roche pit, sending him in to steal the Aegis within the bird, but the bird was killed on the high ground there, and he was just stuck.
The most unfortunate thing that could ever happen.
Yeah.
What does MUFC do with this last pick? They don't really have physical damage, and that's something you need. Sure, they've got RP for the Lifestealer, but still, you need some physical damage to deal with that rage.
Or, yeah, a hero that buys Abyssal Blade is always good against the Lifestealer.
Maybe a Faceless Void?
Hero.
With that farmy Leshrac, could
Void Magnus is pretty potent as well.
It's a possibility.
But do MUFC play that hard to carry that often? I usually don't see them play this super hard time.
This fits them better. Yeah, this fits them a lot better.
The problem with this is, well, Tiny and Nyx, it's a double-edged sword, really, because if he rages in on the Tiny, and there's a lot of stuff nearby him, he can't toss the Nyx back, and then Tiny just gets destroyed by Nyx in a 1v1 like that. But if he's able to toss the Nyx back, because you can toss magic immune units away from you, and then his rage will be off, then it goes the other way around. But during that rage timer, if Tiny gets a Nyx attached to him, he's going to be screwed. So they're going to have to be really careful how they play this if they're going to pick the Tiny up.
Yeah. Later on in the game, Tiny does decently well against Lifestealer, especially if you get that Manta. You can remove open wounds. You've got Craggy when the rage wears off. You've got RP to help ensure that you can deal with the rage. I think MUFC will be comfortable if this goes later, but in the mid game, TongFu, they've got the Nyx, Beastmaster, and the Nakes who can assassinate. Oh, I should really call him Lifestealer for to avoid any confusion. So they've got the mid game definitely with the map control if they have a good start. Where MUFC are going to be very careful, but MUFC, the one thing, they have so many stuns: Avalanche, Toss, Split Earth, Disruption just to set those up, RP, even Skewer, your Burrow Straight. They have Stun City, and
yeah, they're like, last game we had one stun. Like, screw this, guys. Like, I don't want to play like that ever again.
But are they using up all their stuns in one game?
Yeah, but this game's gonna really rely on a lot of. I know we're talking a lot about How here versus Sharky is. Oh wait, is Freedom's actually? I don't know. Freedom's playing the.
Yeah, Sharky's on the mag.
Yeah, Sharky's on the mag. So we're talking about the Tiny and Lifestealer matchup, but a big part of the Tiny Lifestealer matchup is going to also include the Beastmaster and the Magnus on hitting their, kind of magic immune abilities that go through magic immune. I'm sorry, and yeah, those two are going to be huge in team fights. The Beastmaster and Magnus are going to be big factors.
Also,
in team fights.
Along with those, something we haven't discussed is. Wait a second, this has to be a mistake. Ohio Shadow Demon. Wait, there's no way he's.
Are they just trying to?
This might be mind games. It might be. Maybe they'll just switch it up. Maybe he just chose the wrong hero. But the Shadow Demon, getting that demonic purge out. That's another way. That and Shadow Demon is one of the best heroes against Lifestealer. That's basically the quick way to put it. You can purge him. You can disrupt your teammate or yourself if he's going on you, and it allows you to turn the fight around. It wastes his precious time during rage. So. I think they have ways to deal with the Lifestealer, but they just have to be careful in the laning stage. Don't want to give up too many early towers. Don't want to give up too many kills. That's what TongFu need. I think TongFu, I don't know if this lineup fits them though, because they're more of a deliberate team. We saw some swagger at the end of that last game, but they're much more of a slow, steady team, and they can't really be that this game. They've got to be aggressive once that 6 to 10 minute mark hits.
Yeah, I'd love to see Shadow Demon's just one of those, like, he may play a solo mid Shadow Demon. It looks like he is going to, and they're just going to do a passive tri-lane up here instead of aggressive, and Sharky's actually going off lane with the Magnus. So they are actually going to run a solo mid Shadow Demon, and it's really strong in lane. Shadow Demon solo mid is extremely strong, but I guess we can roll over the players first before he
Yeah, sure. So
Talk more about that.
we've got Ohio, as you mentioned, on the solo mid Shadow Demon, rushing the bottle. Sharky on the offlane mag. He farmed well last game, but he did have that crucial moment where he got picked off while diving the enemy base to try and escape. Got RP'd after the I think it was either the blink or the skewer, and then gave up an Aegis. Had some miscues in that last game. Got to play a little bit safer this one. Net on the support Sand King, lane on the support Leshrac. So it is actually going to be a support in the not Ohio playing it. And then X Freedom, last seen with Zenith. Actually, last seen standing in for MUFC at the GST Challenge, but before that with Zenith, he'll be playing the safe lane Tiny.
And over on TongFu side, we're going to have Hao playing the hard carry and the Nyx on the bottom lane, with the tri-lane being supported by San Sheng on the Keeper of the Light, and Long DD playing the Nyx Assassin. Solo mid, we're going to have Mu actually playing the Beastmaster mid. I'm glad to see this. And Veronica's going to be playing the off-lane Darkseer.
Yeah, so he is going to be playing a similar... This is something we haven't really seen from TongFu, but it's, you know, it's what we talked about. They do like to take a little pieces here and there from a lot of the other Chinese teams, and there's a team that in some ways does remind me of LGD. Not as aggressive normally, but this is a much more aggressive lineup. They've got to have that good laning start. Let's see if they can do it. Early on, Sangsheng, what is he going to do? Journeying towards the... Oh, just going to place an observer, it looks like here.
Yeah. The one thing I'm really worried about for MUFC is whenever you run a support Sand King out of him... Oh, they may go on here? Nah, I don't think they can get him. X Freedom was a little out of position.
Oh, Lane thought he could.
But the one thing I'm really worried about is when you run a support Sand King, if you're not finding the kills or you're not getting enough XP from pools and you're wasting time, support Sand King that is under-leveled is one of the most miserable things to play, because you don't get your Burrow Strike high level, you don't never have mana to keep stunning. So I hope he has a good start, or else you're going to have a hard time pulling off a support Sand King. That's why you don't see it very often. It falls off really fast if you don't get a good start.
Yeah, and... You know, he's forced into this hard support role because they also have the Leshrac, who's not being played as a farmer, because they went for that Tiny as the last pick. And I'm a little concerned about the amount of damage Freedom is taking off the bat. He opted for the early Quelling Blade, but that's not going to help him get... Well, really, he doesn't have much regen to work with. He's already going to be forced to use a salve. Already has burned through some tangos as well. And they don't really have the best heroes to keep Darkseer out of lane because that Sand King, early level Burrow Strike, very low range, Split Earth, unreliable. Until they get some levels, which are going to be slower because they're supports, they can't fully keep Darkseer out of lane, and that means Tiny's taking a lot of harassment he doesn't want. They may have to start pulling their consumables towards him as well.
Yeah, they definitely are going to have to. This is the one thing that's a little surprising. Oh, the courier. No, it's not going to get shadow poisoned, or the vision for shadow poison, then auto attack. But usually when you see a Darkseer offlane, you put Shadow Demon there because he's one of the best heroes against Darkseer. Because once he starts that surge up, you just disrupt them, follow up with stuns, easy kill. So it's a little surprising seeing the Shadow Demon mid instead of keeping this, you know, shutting down this Darkseer completely.
Yeah, it is. The good news though is they're going to have a very highly leveled Shadow Demon, and that can be a good mid-game controller. He is a decent ganker. Disruption, obviously, great for counter ganking. That early Demonic Purge, don't underestimate it. We could see some kill setup. And when you're up against Lifestealer, that's probably I think the single best ability they're going to have to gank him early game. Maybe the RP, but we're not going to see that because he's in the off lane. So an early smoke from MUFC, Net and Lane heading towards mid lane. And Mu, level 4, but this could be a kill. Will he be disrupted? Not just yet.
Yeah, they'll wait till he gets a little closer. If they can get the disrupt off, he's dead. There's nothing he can do against that. This
is big. This is what really made the difference in that LGD versus DK series, is shutting down the mid-game controllers for Xiao 8. When DK was able to do that, they had a much better time. When they weren't, they really struggled, and this Beastmaster is that mid-game controller.
He may know. He's playing a little passive. Maybe he's just getting his bottle. Yeah, this is trouble.
Oh, this is a lot of trouble. Split Earth. He dodges it by running forward. That was something we saw to 4 Love, but the Burrow Strike here anyway. And I think with the Shadow Poison, it should be a kill. First Blood, claimed by MUFC, and a kill they definitely needed. Slowing down that Beastmaster. Also, those supports getting a little extra gold. We'll see Boots out for Net and for Ling pretty soon.
And the trade-off for that is now Tiny's going to get harassed a lot by this Darkseer. He has no more regen fighting under his tower, so he's going to need some regen pulled to him right now.
Yeah, he may even have to go for Tranquil Boots, honestly. Like, this is just a ton of harassment, and it's not really an ideal item on Tiny, but up against this Darkseer, I don't know what your other option is. It looks like Leshrac's buying a salve, so I guess they're just going to try and get by with the pulled regen for now.
Yeah, you don't want Tranquil Boots on Tiny. You want an item that allows him to be more aggressive.
So they get the kill. That's going to fuel the support pickups. Bottom side of the map, Magnus is pulling this. obviously TongFu are going to be expecting this, just because they haven't seen the mag. He's not really here that goes into the jungle and does a whole lot there. So they figure the Ancients are getting stacked, and then if they start to push this bottom lane, which they could do soon, that's going to give them access to those Ancients. So fighting over those Ancients, MUFC, I'd like to see early TPs on them, and maybe just be prepared for when that push comes.
Yeah, they're doing... Sharky's doing a good job controlling the runes, but that's about all he's getting on the spot lane, runes.
And Moo sees those supports off the map, he goes into the jungle, he starts farming his small camp, playing very defensively, and Ohio's already level 6 after this creep. Or maybe 2 creeps.
Since he already killed this creep wave, I mean the trees by the small camp, one thing that Demon likes to do on our team is he gets the boar up early, and then he pulls the small camp with his boar. And that actually will shut down any mid solo pretty much, just by doing that alone, but not many other teams have been really picking that up.
Yeah, all the Chinese teams, they love their early Inner Beast. Like, he is going back for the boar, but he takes the 1 point Inner Beast early to control the lane, and so it delays the boar. We're not going to see it until at least level 8, I guess. Well, unless he doesn't level up the X's, which is possible.
He's about to hit level 6 right now. He's like, they're always off the map, and he does not want to die again. He's just gonna like, if I die again mid, it's gonna be disastrous, so I'm just gonna take my farm in the jungle right now whenever I see them off the map.
But they're off the map, but they're not sitting around trying to gank them. They're getting a lot of levels. So I think MUFC's got to be fairly happy with how this is progressing. Now, the big trade-off, already a Midas up on the lifesteal. So Hao's getting very fat, and the mag isn't getting a thing. But they're getting the supports leveled, and Sand King, like you mentioned, something he really needs is a decent start as a support, or he's cannon fodder later on.
Yeah. He's doing okay for now. He's got his boots up, which is really the most important thing at this stage. And they're going for another smoke gank. Are they going to wrap around on top, or do they decide they're going to go mid?
There's a sentry ward down in the lane mid, but it's off towards the right a little bit. This is not going to spot the smoke gank. And
yeah, I guess that was just for lane ward, maybe.
Yeah. Because by the time they got there, they'd see it anyway. Or the smoke would be dispelled anyway.
Yeah. They're not sure where they want to go, but it looks like they decided top.
They're running out of time here. Smoke doesn't last forever. It's done.
But Dark Sirius? Nope. He's not stepping up. Just one more Iron Shell.
Yeah.
Oh, he actually went for the bottle on Tiny to deal with this. That's a decent way to do it as well.
He's really having trouble dealing with it in spite of that.
Yeah, as you can see, the CS between the Lifestealer and the Tiny it's a little lower because he has to deal with this Ion Chill all the time, whereas the Lifestealer has nothing stopping him from farming right now.
Yeah, he doesn't care about Shockwave. Even if the Shockwave is there, he just heals it back up, and, you know, he's just not being harassed at all, really.
And a little bit of D-warding going on here. That's a pretty good ward to get rid of on top river here. Especially at night. That's the best time to gank at night for those who are kind of new to the game. When you want to go ganking, do it at night. Heroes have less vision at night, so it makes it much easier.
And they know the pressure's coming mid. It's been a Shadow Poison. Not a max. He took 3 points in it, now he's going back for Soul Catcher. Not leveling up Disruption at all, just going for that more DPS, more killing power. There's a Roar, but the Disruption to turn this one around, and the Axes, but the Mana Burn from the high ground. Moose dropping low to the Shadow Poison, and I think he's gonna... It's close. No, he'll live. One more stack, I think he dies there.
Yeah, they were trying to defend that ward that was getting de-warded there, which is going to get de-warded anyways, and they lose Leshrek's life for it, so...
And Ned really wanted to defend it to the bitter end. He was trying to burrow strike up to the high ground, but just can't find the opening.
Yeah. Small victory there for TongFu. Another kill, evening it up.
Good news. Sharky took this time to start getting a lot of levels, and we see Lifestealer transitioning into the jungle.
Top lane, he might be able to get him here.
Yeah, maybe. Sangchain's taking the farm now, a little bit more in the lane. Pressuring Magnus back, but...
Oh, Veronica does go down. He did get him.
Oh, you're talking about the other off. I thought you were talking about bottom.
Oh, I said top lane, I think. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was like, well, yeah, he's coming, but he's not really that close. I just completely zoned out. Oh, man.
I'll have to read the chat to see what I really said. What?
You probably did, but maybe it's muffled, or maybe I'm just hearing things. So, as far as gold goes, a little over 1,000 gold lead. As far as experience, around 2,000. Radiant leading. Some of that is the Midas. And... I think it's still a pretty even game. They haven't lost towers for MUFC, and That's something TongFu need. They need to get some towers down so they can start really abusing the Nyx Assassin, the Beastmaster, and the Lifestealer in the mid-game. We're starting to get to that point where if these towers are up, it's going to be very easy for MUFC to counter-gank and counter-initiate.
Yeah, like, when you have a tiny-ish or carry, he doesn't just need to farm. His nukes do an incredibly high amount of damage, so he can just run around ganking and then turn into a carry as well. So that leads to some super aggressive play if they want it.
And they're pressuring top lane. Leshrac has opted for the lightning build. Normally what we see out of the support Leshracs, unless they're going for a really aggressive pushing tri-lane, which they're not. Mu, Smoke is up on him. Arcane Boot's up as well. And Sangchain Tranquil's complete. Is there mech components? No, not yet. He brought some more wards, it looks like. Veronica getting some okay levels, not getting a whole lot of farm. 25 CS, not bad though. And Sharky, about the same. So the off lanes, more pressure put on the Tiny, less on the Lifestealer, but the two
That's
off
gonna be a
lanes
problem.
getting a similar amount.
That's gonna be a big problem because the Midas is up now for the Lifestealer, and he's ahead in CS. So he's gonna start snowballing really hard here, whereas the Tiny doesn't really have much. He just has Bracer and Phase Boots. But Ohio's might... Oh, let's see what they do here.
Ohio, he gets caught first, and then the 2-hero Burrow Strike turning this around. Now the stun, and then the toss, not enough damage. Moo's able to run away. The turnaround coming. Long DD giving chase, looking for the body block a little bit, gets in front. Tossing him backwards, a nice toss. Net's got another burrow, but doesn't want to get caught by anything. Net's going back in. Freedom's going back in. I don't know about this choice. They're running into a lot of damage, and they give up 2 kills for the Keeper of the Light. Can you say not worth it? Oh, Veronica snipes one.
Oh, the Magnus inside sniped that. That was such a long-range shockwave.
Maybe worth it, except Lifestealer wasn't there, so I gotta say, still not worth it.
Yeah, the Tiny died. He just keeps getting further and further behind. And like I said, in this matchup, if How manages to get much more farm than the Tiny, and they don't, like, if they do shut down the Shadow Demon and the Magnus, those are 2 key factors as well, which will be in the team fights for this Lifestealer. But right now, this Lifestealer, if he gets up his next item, he's just going to eat Tiny in these team fights.
Yeah, he's going to melt him. Tiny can deal with it late game, but not at this point. No way, unless there's an RP there. The Demonic Purge, the solo mid Shadow Demon, I don't think we've really seen it pay off yet. He did okay. He did pretty well in his lane. He's slightly ahead of the Beastmaster, but it's not like he shut him down, and we haven't seen him go roaming. We haven't seen him go for an early gank on the Lifestealer with that Demonic Purge. So for me, this just isn't really paying off yet. I'm not convinced, but let's see what they can do. He's got a Staff of Wizardry up. Probably that Force Staff coming soon.
Yeah, he's just going to have his levels in the team fights. The one thing I really want to see from the Beastmaster this game is I want to see an Aghanims coming out of him, because that is one of the best ways. Like, Shadow Demon's one of those heroes that is going to screw your roar over completely, because whoever gets roared, he just disrupts them, and there goes your roar. But if you have the Aghanims, you can always pinpoint the Shadow Demon and just roar him in the fights.
Top lane.
And that's going to make things very easy.
Wrap around on Veronica. Avalanche, then toss, not hitting the combo, just wanting the longer time to hold him in place, which actually makes sense, because then... the Nyx, or not the Nyx, so many bugs in this game. The Sand King comes in and cleans up
Scorpion bug this time.
Long DD's waiting mid. He wants to strike. He's going to use Vendetta just to get in range for the Impale. Then the stun from the Beastmaster. The roar flies out. That was a nice
late
combo
TPs.
there. Too late.
Yeah. Communication wasn't quite there on that one.
I really like that. You know, the standard pub player would just walk in and try and auto-attack with Vendetta, but that's what you use your Vendetta for in these cases. When a hero's near the tower, you just get in range just to Impale, and then your team follows up with the chain stun. Sure, it's less burst from the Nyx, but they don't need it. Preventing that disruption, that's all it takes.
Yeah. Pretty much. If he went in there to get the one right-click off, he could have either dodged the Impale by disrupting himself or disrupted the Nyx and turned the fight, so... In those situations, sometimes it's not worth getting the damage off. You just can't do it.
And it looks like we're not just seeing the mobile ward Nyx, we are seeing the ganking Nyx, so Banana remains unique in that respect.
And it's just the way the game was going. They just had no room to get any ganks, so he just made a nice adjustment that game.
It's something I wouldn't mind seeing again, but hey, this is a little more action-packed, a little more exciting. It's a smoke gank towards top, X-Freedom. Is going to get away in the nick of time, I think, but the Vendetta's stalking him. Oh boy. Oh boy. Dan it.
Can't even kill him, though.
I don't know if he can. He's got spiked. He's got mana burned. It's going to be very close. Not quite enough. Yeah, like you said, just not enough damage.
Yeah. Illuminate. Woo.
Just out of range. Now bottom lane, they go onto Hao, but Hao's already level 11. And without the RP and when he rages, there's just no chance to bring him down.
Yeah, and he has this armlet now, pretty much. I think, yeah, he's getting really close to it. I don't know what's on the chicken. Nothing, but he's gonna have armlet in no time. And then even with those 3 heroes, they can't even kill him. They're gonna need like a 4-man wrecking crew for him if they want to bring him down.
They might need a demonic purge and an RP, it seems.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's gonna take a lot. At X Freedom, he's got the drums up, but when you go this build, we often see it comboed with a Wisp, or just with a lineup that can set up the Tiny for a lot of easy kills, because he's not really, you know, it's not accelerating his farm at all. Mid lane, they go in. Can they find the kill here on Mu? Burrow Strike, and that's a lot of Shadow Poison stacks. That was 5. Easy. Just throwing them in there constantly. Throws 4, and then throws another.
This is the beauty of the Caudle as well. Once you get a kill like that, you're like, alright, let's go damage the tower. But if Caudle even comes wherever heroes are, he just kills the creeps. And then that's it. You just get 1 kill, nothing else out of it. They TP bottom lane, and they're looking for a kill on bot lane here.
Yeah, Mag actually running away from Nyx. So Nyx creating pressure, forcing TPs. Sure, no kill there on the Mag, but MUFC forced to react, and this is time that, you know, they're not spending stacking farming the jungle, and the Lifestealer just being left completely unchecked. Armlet up, and then another item coming soon. And once he gets that next item, the Desolator, the Basher, he's just going to easily kill 1, if not 2 heroes in that rage. Unless he gets RP'd.
Yes. The one thing that happens when you go this face drums build on Tiny, I think you need to be looking for kills more than farming the waves. So
yeah,
I'd like to see him just start, like, maybe just go to the Nyx's lane or the Lifestealer's lane and just try finding a way to kill him. Get that RP off, combo him, kill him, and then get this huge advantage that this Lifestealer does have right now, and try to neutralize that a little bit.
It's a ganker build. If he wanted to farm, you know, you'd love to go for just a Midas. Of course, he could. He's under 2 for harassment, but he's not going to keep up otherwise. He can't constantly spam his nukes. Tiny's mana is limited with the phase boots, and he's just falling further and further behind. They also
they need to smoke up, and they are.
The one good news is, yeah, like you said, smoked up. They haven't lost towers yet, so in fact, all outer towers remaining for both teams. So map control not that much of an issue. Long DD.
Yeah, neither team has good pushing. Oh, right behind the tower here.
Yeah, a little slow there to catch the spike. Carapace, they thought they had him, and then they didn't. RP will be thrown on 2. They get the kill, but the counter roar, and they had to blow the RP to get that kill.
Oh!
Oh, that illuminate. That is a lot. That's a lot of pain. The
that
light.
The light. I've ever seen.
Nope. Darkseer not able to get anywhere near that for a vacuum.
Denial on top now. So Harass is paid off from Darkseer there. He kept pushing the wave in super far, and eventually your tower is going to take a lot of damage, as well as the Tiny took a lot of damage. So the first tower of the game goes down.
Yeah, first tower falls top, and Hao is on the prowl now. He's up to 1600 gold. He's coming mid, and he brings the Nyx Assassin, brought back in by Sang-Chain. This Keeper of the Light, they really know how to use it effectively.
Oh my gosh.
No way. No way. Leshrac getting picked off there by that Illuminate. Unbelievable. Even Ohio lost almost all of his health. They're just getting zoned off the towers now. They can't even defend.
They threw the axes, and then they threw the Illuminate right after, and he just died instantly.
Now they're going up to net. Oh, is he gonna die again? The Infest. That was max AoE on the Infest, I think. There.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of max AoE on all their spells here.
These guys, they should look into a career in 3-point shooting, because this is from downtown stuff.
Yeah, and this goes another tower. They might rotate bottom now. This Magnus has Arcane Boots up, level 8. RP is down for 30 seconds, a little less, but they're going to look for a trade. And
they really needed it there. You know, they blew it top just to get the Nyx, who should have died anyway, to 1 more auto attack, and then they don't have it. They can't take a fight mid, and then, to make matters worse, Sang-Chain is just, you know, MLG 420 sniping everyone from behind the tree line.
Yeah. And again, take a lot of damage from Illuminate. Now they have to back.
They can't push. I don't even know why they're trying to. This is not going to work.
So the problem they had in both games. I'm really surprised they didn't ban out the Caudle. If you want to play aggressive, Caudle's a pretty good hero to just remove from the pool, unless you have tower diving heroes like Night Stalker. Otherwise, you need to play a farm fest, because there's no way you're pushing.
And I thought maybe they were thinking about that. They did a lot of pulling early on. We had a couple smoke ganks, but not really committing to pushes. And then they started to try and force it, and it's not working. Net burrow strikes into the trees, and how no Quelling Blade can't actually get in there until the vacuum comes through. And now Net in a bad place, in a bad time, and he'll fall. The Illuminate across the way from Sangcheng. He's just diving in. He's manning up on the back lines while everybody else is trying to dodge an RP. Sangcheng is fearless. This guy runs up the hill. I guess they had the Hawk, but no actual wards there. And now Moo in trouble. Freedom's on the hunt, but he gets slowed. Shadow Poison should bring him down. On the other side of play, it's Veronica with a 3-man vacuum. Where's the follow-up? It's not there. MUFC strike back. The Lifestealer, not very manly play from him. He had a decent amount of HP and just backs off completely.
And there's the Illuminate again.
Nice stun from Freedom, but out comes the turnaround, I think. Is there Demonic Purge? 4 staff and 6, and he tosses back the wrong hero, gets unlucky with that. Might have been able to live if it was the Nyx, I'm not sure. Demonic Purge now, and Soul Catcher on long DD. Then the Lightning bringing him low. Ohio wants to get out of here. Let me out, he says. Let me out from the Illuminates, but they just keep on coming. Now Sandcane, Epi being channeled, but can only get in range of the Lifestealer, and he's raged, so not gonna be able to kill him off. Now try to run the other way, the Illuminate, the killing blow, he dodges it, but now he'll die to how? How do you want to die? To the zombie or to Gandalf? You just can't know, there's no way out, there's no way out for this team.
And I love this move, going for this Aghanim's. I think this is the perfect item choice from him, going against the Shadow Demon. The longer this goes on, if he gets his Aghanim's up, the Shadow Demon's life is going to be miserable.
Yeah, it really is. And the worst part of all is they're so far ahead now, and the Tiny's 4k goal behind, and it's only going to get worse without the lanes to farm it. There's your fight. There's your big initiation. A lot of damage. Illuminate strikes again. Just destroying these guys. MUFC are getting sieged down from long range. This is what TongFu had to do. Once that 10 to 15 minute mark hits, start to get aggressive, control the map, find kills, group up and push, force fights. And they're doing it, Plea. And MUFC are just getting pulled apart by it. And they're going right back in.
They're losing, oh, long DD, May, the spikes.
The spikes, the mech, turning it around. Now the axis. Where's the Illuminate? Not in range for it. Now disrupted, but can they really turn this around? I don't think so.
He does have the gem on Ohio, so...
They're fighting without Hal, but he can be recalled in a second. And they might do it. I'm not sure.
He has the Basher up as well. Looks like he's going to go Abyssal Blade first item, just to further punish the Tiny.
It's also going to mean that pesky Sand King can't just sit inside a Sandstorm. He's going to get Abyssal and brought down instantly. If it comes to that. And also...
It's a really good item on Lifestealer. You can just lock any target down that you want.
And the Tiny getting closer to the Ags, but that's not enough this game. He's going to need a Manta to deal with open wounds. He's going to need, you know, an Assault Cuirass for the armor to deal with all the physical damage coming from the Lifestealer. He needs like 2-3 items to really fight. And the Blink Dagger up on the Mag, but he's just not finding those big 3-4 hero RPs. And how does he find them when you've got to make sure you hit the Lifestealer and everybody else in TongFu is just either spread out or you're running because they've already picked you off with the Nyx, the Beastmaster. It's just no good openings.
Yeah, the problem is like, they're not going to get the opening because all their heroes are just going to be sitting so far back. Like, the Beastmaster and Caudal, once he gets the Aghanim's up, they're going to be way far in the back every fight. And you can't go that far back in the fight. And you're going to have your targets as, like, maybe the Lifestealer to go on in the front. But if you're solo RPing the Lifestealer in the front, the Darkseer is going to punish you for that.
Yeah, you're going to get roared, then the fight turns around, and you're not going to kill the Lifestealer during that time. He's too tanky, and there's the mech to make sure that he doesn't drop. And the Abyssal, 300 gold off. We're going to see a 23-minute Abyssal Midas Treads armlet. That is disgusting.
Yeah.
That's filthy.
It really is. This Tiny, he can't compete with the Lifestealer right now. There's no way. And the support Sand King, he doesn't have a Blink Dagger up because he's support. So they're not going to have that form of initiation either. So how do they initiate here? They hope the other team disconnects?
How do you initiate on how? It's ancient Chinese riddle.
Yeah. What I think they need to do is... Jeez. Well, I'm just trying to think here, like, what could they possibly do here? Because
They need.
I feel like
I feel
leading. Yeah, go for it.
maybe a blink on the Sand King, but you can't farm it. So yeah, I mean, what did you have on mind?
They need to start the disruption off on the Lifestealer, I think, and then they're gonna have to follow up with RP on that unit. It just has to happen, because then you have to skewer him back, and hopefully he doesn't rage at that time. And then within that time, you have to hope to God Sand King can go on with a good counter initiation, or else you're not going to get anything done. But the problem is it's Darkseer. It's really the hero that's ruining this, because if you go all in on Howl like this, Darkseer is going to vacuum your entire team into either an Impale or just vacuum them away from Howl so he gets time, and then you have the Roar on top of it. These team fights are definitely not in MUFC's favor at all.
Also,
what you can hope to happen is that Lifestealer gets over-aggressive.
Also, they have a Force Staff on Keeper of the Light, and that's just going to mean even if you go in on him and he gets low, they can probably bring him to safety anyway.
Yeah. The one last other thing they can do is they can start sacrificing Net just to hope for good initiations. And him go in, try to get his stun off. Hopefully they swarm him, and then the Magnus goes in for an RP.
Maybe they toss the Sand King into a big epicenter. They could toss him in. Yeah, I guess they could do that with the Blink RP, but you got to get more than one hero if you're going to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
it's tough.
I'd love to see some Ward Vision back there, but doing the toss combo is very difficult versus Beastmaster if he has his Hawk placed correctly, which actually it's on the other side of the map right now, so if they wanted to attempt that, they could attempt that. That's probably a decent idea for them. So level 1 Epicenter, it won't hurt very much, but the big thing will be is if he can get the stun on multiple heroes.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Freedom's kind of positioned in the front here. I'm not sure they have any intention of doing that. Like you said, at the best of times, it's difficult to execute because TongFu, they're not all going to be on the tower. They're going to be back behind the Lifestealer. And really, you want to... I mean, it'd be nice to go on the Lifestealer, but really you want that multiple hero burst strike on the heroes that you can actually kill. You know, those backline supports who are actually not very killable. They've got... I mean, they're all very tanky, but hey, more killable than the Lifestealer, that's for sure. So, yeah, I don't see it happening, but... I guess those are your outside-the-box options, and if you don't go outside the box, then you're losing Roche, most likely after this.
Well, look where they're standing, the 3 supports in the back. The 2 heroes that are like, okay, I got Rage, you can't kill me, bro, and then I've got Spike Carapace, you can't kill me either. And they're the only heroes that can die, they're way in the back here. And they're just going to let Howl take this building, and they're probably going to continue this trend until all the outer towers are gone. Because there's nothing you can do against this.
At some point, you have to fight. It's something we saw yesterday. This is a better fighting lineup than the game we saw yesterday, but even so, it's also a tougher opponent in some ways with that Lifestealer being this fat.
Yeah, this is why I don't like to support Sand King at all. It's just, at this stage of the game, if you don't have the Blink Dagger up, the hero doesn't offer you like what a Tidehunter would offer in fights. You know, you need the Blink Dagger on this hero mid-game, whereas if you have a Tidehunter support, you're good. The hero just walks in and gets a Ravage off. It's a lot harder to pull off mid-game.
Yeah, and we haven't even seen the Abyssal Blade. We haven't seen him just insta-gibbing one of these heroes in the middle of the fight. And that's about to be out in 50 gold. If they go for the top tier 2, if they go for that last avatar, maybe MUFC can steal Roche. That's the one other thing I can think of. But that's assuming TongFu doesn't go for it themselves, and they've got the Hawk. You have to expect they're going to be... If they're giving it up, they're doing it for a really good trade. So no easy way out right now.
Yeah, Abyssal Blade and Aghanim's are going to come out after this tower. Actually, Abyssal comes before the tower even dies, but if they get this tower, they're going to have Aghanim's up on the Beastmaster.
Yeah, it's coming right now, like you said, on the courier, and he's got a, just for good measure, he's got a Hand of Midas usage off cooldown as well. 6k net worth, 5.5k net worth ahead of the Tiny. And the Siege, they don't have the best sieging lineup. Like, they can kill the creeps, but they don't have a bear to go on the tower. So that's one good piece of news for MUFC, but it's in a sea of darkness at this point.
I like what Ned's doing right now. They're spamming the lanes down. They're like, alright, Sand King, we know just as well as you know that you don't do anything here. Go farm your Blink Dagger while we hold this.
Because TongFu back out, maybe he actually will find a little space to do this, but it's still going to be, you know, a good 4 minutes, I would say. Maybe, you know, 3-4 minutes at least to get that Blink, and that's assuming he's farming. He's just wandering around the river. He doesn't actually go to the lane. They don't really have vision right now. They don't know where TongFu is. And so they're afraid to farm.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know where they're out on the map. They think maybe they're smoking group up. So he can't go solo farm right now. But they're gonna have to keep split pushing until they get these key items up. They're gonna need this Aghanim's up on Tiny. The cleave damage will help them out quite a bit if they can manage to get the RP off.
Aghanim's is coming pretty soon. He just needs the Blade of Alacrity. And he does have the mag buffing him up. There's still a chance in this game if we do see a really big RP. Like, if TongFu's positioning is bad for whatever reason, MUFC could really punish that. But we just haven't seen them position themselves poorly. That's why it seems so unlikely. But if it does happen, they have that big AoE, and the later it goes, the better this game is going to get for MUFC. So, yeah. TongFu can sit back and wait for the Ags, but it's up now. They could sit back and wait for the Abyssal Blade. That's up now. I think they should be pushing the issue at this point.
Right now, I don't think they have a good chance of defending their tier 2s, but they have a really, really good shot of defending their tier 3s, because that's much easier to get off good initiations near that high ground advantage there. So if they can manage to hold off and get their items up by that time, they're in pretty good shape here.
Well, the dual Ags come out. The Beastmaster, you mentioned focus on that Shadow Demon, roar him from long range. Let's see who Mu chooses to focus in these fights. Will it be that Shadow Demon? If you're not focusing him, anybody that Lifestealer goes on is going to be disrupted, and then he'll be purged. So it's
or anyone else that you roar is going to get disrupted too. So
yeah, well, let's see what he's able to do with this. Hao's waiting on the bottom lane, but can be recalled at any time. Long DD lurking on the high ground, and one key thing for MUFC, they don't have sentries in front of the tower, but they do have one up the hill here, and it looks like they're going to just sit very far behind it.
Dire's middle tower.
Do they go for that toss epi? I don't know.
I think they're just going to let it fall, spam it a little bit.
They'd use the glyph? Interesting. But not really defending. And can.
Yeah, they can't. They just bought as much time as they could, but they need to have the Sand King off farming while this is happening. Like, he doesn't do anything, and he just has no spam to offer. If he goes in with the Burrow Strike, he's dead.
Sand King, you have no business here.
Yeah.
It's what we saw yesterday with the Chaos Knight. But...
yeah.
What is your business, sir?
He has none. He's just moral support.
Yeah, now Roche begins, and channeling illuminates inside the pit. Not really committed to it, though. They're going to back off. And with that Aghanim's Beastmaster with the Hawk, this is really where he shines, is, you know, start pressuring around the Roche pit, find a pick-off, and then you go. And MUFC, if they lose anyone, they really can't take a fight. They need all 5 to be effective.
Yeah, the Sand King just pinged on top lane. He's like, alright, I'm up to 1,500 gold. This Blink Dagger is starting to look like a possibility. So I'm just going to go up here and farm it. He's not going to be able to farm the wave, but he can damage some neutrals or something. Or does he want to go for the wave? He has to know that Hao's going to come up there eventually and farm that.
He has to know that Long DD could be there at any moment as well with Vendetta. And
well, Vendetta, he can see Long DD in the river right now because our word's not dead yet. They're killing with the pig now. He doesn't know where heroes are at.
And he's getting close. They're giving him a lot of time to farm this up. Freedom. They have a lot of time, or they could be farming, but actually they're not farming that much. Here comes the Nyx on a Nyx plane. Bomb. Whatever you could say. Here you go. Freedom. He's abyssal. No, he's not abyssal yet. He didn't use the abyssal there. There's the disruption. Maybe turning this around. Now the roar comes out. They don't need to roar the Shadow Demon because he already disrupted, and they get the kill.
Ohio force-staffed the Nyx onto the hill up there. That was cute.
It was cute, but cuteness not winning this game, at least not yet, and they breach high ground.
And Blink's still not up.
There's a Blink RP.
Not on the Sand King, but yeah, they have Blink RP.
Maybe he walks in and looks to channel. They're a little clumped up for my taste for TongFu. I'd like to see them a bit farther back. It's still not going in.
Maybe they're afraid there's not enough damage without Tiny here. Just gonna let it go. Which rightfully so. Tiny is pretty much all their damage at this point.
At some point, you gotta fight. They lose one lane of Rax. When will they make that stand? We're not seeing it.
They need Magnus to get some more levels as well. Once he gets the Empower higher level on the Tiny, and then their initiation needs to happen. It just has to happen. They have to make some type of initiation here so Tiny can get on a target and cleave them down.
He's one creep away from his blink, and he might die here. Freedom is going to get started off. They start off with the Impale. Now the Roar going on to Mag, actually, and then the Disruption. So Mag dropping low, Epicenter being channeled, but it's a level 2 Epicenter. It doesn't matter. He's running away while epiing. That's not how you use Epicenter to great effectiveness. Chain stunning, and it's actually a triple for Hao when it's all said and done. Wow.
Yeah, he had to pick his poison there. Do I save the Tiny, whose Nags is going on, or do I save the Magnus, who just got roared with the Shadow Demon? He chose to go for the Tiny, which means there's no RP in that fight.
Yeah, no RP, and the Epicenter. Now the Blink's up. They could Blink stun, but no damage. With even with the whole team up, I don't think they can fight this at this point. They'll have to try, but it's just, how do you kill anyone? Double vitality boosters on the supports, the 4 staffs. Now the roars off cooldown, vacuum on 2. Burrow Strike to try and escape and also turn it around. Doesn't matter. Tang Fu are just, they're kind of making MUFC look silly in this game.
They are. Like I said, oh, there's the RP, but at this stage it's a little too late.
It's a little too late, and it is just too much damage. And now Gollum going to work here, along with Gandalf. Flee, you fools, flee! And yet they're not fleeing; they're diving, and it's working.
Yeah, it's pretty much over now. The big problem they had was, like I said, this matchup is very volatile between the Lifestealer and the Tiny, and the Lifestealer got way too much. He just was allowed to freefarm the entire time, while as the Tiny was constantly pressured. So, yeah, it's just unfair at this point if they were to do a right-click battle. As you can see, just the Lifestealer's destroying the entire Dire team.
And that's with good heroes to deal with him, with Demonic Purge, Disruption, and RP. These are abilities that are very strong against Lifestealer in many games, but you know, it's not enough. Sure they can use those, but then they don't bring them down, and then it wears off and he kills everyone.
Yeah. It's just they're way too underfarmed at this stage, and they're not finding the initiation. Their lineup is really focused on getting good initiation off, and it just hasn't been there yet.
And once again, we see yet another one of your favorite items. It's Rod of Atos #2.
Yeah, they seem to like that on the Keeper of the Light.
It does give you a crap ton of health. The intelligence doesn't really matter, because, you know, you're not auto-tag, you've got Chakra Magic, but it's a lot of HP. And the passive, or the active, not too bad. It's got a nice build-up.
They buffed the cast range on it, so it's like it's very good at catching heroes that are running away now.
And they do have a good catching heroes lineup team in general, so it has good synergy that way with the long
But at this stage of the game, where are you going to catch them in their fountain?
unless they're going for a big complexity wraparound gank or something.
Yeah.
We're not seeing that.
That's interesting pipe there. A little indecisive there. They pop the pipe but don't do anything with it. We figured they'd try to get some damage off on the tower with the pipe and just slow roll it, but guess not. Oh wow, did the Beastmaster just get those items or what?
He just Moo goes for a wardrobe change before reaching high ground. What are we, in Act 2 of his? I thought Director 8 played yesterday, but Moo wants to show off his acting skills as well.
Yeah.
4 staffing in. The roar's here, but gets stunned. He's still in range for it. But now Split Earth. Now RP. A perfect RP, really, as good as you could ever hope for. And an Epi. Are they really turning this around? Even with that, not enough.
Yeah.
That was a nice combo, though, I must say.
That would have happened.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Just a little too late.
Yeah, just a little too late there. Wow, Tang Fu.
Now they have a fighting tree for themselves.
Tang Fu looked really good in that series, but I gotta say, MUFC, not the MUFC I've seen play before. They looked a little shaky and, you know, maybe a little nervous. This is, I think, their first really big tournament as a team. The Asia, I suppose you could count that, but, you know, that's sort of in their comfort zone. That's in Malaysia. This is a lot different. This is going to China. This is, you know, playing in a broadcast studio. This is being on national television. It's a bit more of a big deal than something like the Asian. Well, they looked a little shaky in that first series.
Yeah, I felt like MUFC did not play up to what they're known for at all. So hopefully they can get it together for the next series that they have to play in.
They have to now. They have to beat Vici Gaming. That's pretty much a given. Because if they lose to Vici Gaming, the last team. I actually don't know the order of the games, but they're gonna have to play IG at some point. And if they lose that, you have to figure the way they play. The way they played today, they're not. There's no way they beat IG with that level of performance. If they play way better than this, if they play how they're capable of, maybe they have a shot against IG. Still a long shot, I would say. But they have to beat Vici Gaming. If they lose that match, I don't think they advance out of this group. This puts them. Because not only did they lose today, but they lost 2-0. And we saw that came into play in the tiebreakers. That's why DK didn't advance out of Group A. Because they got 2-0'd by 4Love.
Yeah, yep. That's exactly what happened. And like you said, they're really going to have to start making every game count now. When you start off with a 0-2 loss, you're already in a horrible situation. You got to make every game count now that they play.
Well, Fear, that wraps it up for this series. Any party words, nuggets of wisdom, shout-outs you want to make for this series to the viewers out there?
For this series in particular, actually, I'm surprised about how well TongFu played, actually. I haven't seen them playing for a very long time, and they made a lot less mistakes than I thought they would do. Seems like a new TongFu, so I'm interested to see how they do against, for example, a team like IG. Can't wait to see that matchup.
All right, well, since Fear's being modest, I'll plug him. Guys, make sure to follow Fear if you enjoy his casting, of course. Twitter.com/FearDota, Facebook.com/FearDota, Twitch.tv/FearDarkness. He does, well, you stream occasionally. You've been kind of a slacker as of late, though.
Yeah, I stream when I feel like it.
When I'm good and ready.
Yeah. I streamed a lot this month at the beginning of the month. Usually I stream towards the beginning of the month or towards the end, but I'll try streaming more I know people enjoy it, so I'll try to keep that up.
Yeah, maybe you can share